Okay, so this is our new multifoil machine. Takes us from a manual operation, being able to do roughly 250 a week. Very labour intensive and not very efficient. This machine, with a lot of investment from the business, is going to take us into an automated production line, giving us the ability to do 400 a day, thereby increasing us tenfold on what we're able to do. It's been a long time in the making. It's been designed from the ground up, so it's a prototype. And yeah, we're really looking forward to it coming in. An amazing bit of kit. I've seen it running already. Privileges of being able to go down and watch it when it was being built. But the team are excited, and I think this will take us to the next level as a business and keep everything in-house. So yeah, really exciting times. Okay, so this is the tolerances on clearance on this is very, very tight. So we've removed the top coving. We're going to lift it upright on the pallet truck, and we've got to take it through the first internal door, which only is going to give us 5 mil clearance to go through. That's before we put it on the pump truck. So once we get it about a couple of mil off the floor, we're going to be around about a 3 mil clearance. Nice and tight, but we'll get it in, which is a lot better than trying to lay it down on its back and take it through. Because it's the brains of the machine, so we want to try and protect it as best we can. So stay tuned for getting it through the tight spot. The operator will stand here and he'll operate on this control panel up here. He'll be able to see all the moving parts, so he's got a good place to work to control the whole machine with full sight from here. This is why we're placing it here. Okay, so following on from the last instalment, we've got the control cabinet, the brains of the machine is now in its location, and we're starting to install all the wires. So if we walk through, I'll walk you through what we're doing. So this is the main control panel, which is going to control the main unit itself. To bring some perspective of what's actually going on, and it's going to take roughly 2 weeks to install the cables. We've got approximately 200 cables that are 30 metres long each, and if we just whack that into mileage, it's 4 miles of cable for a machine that's going to be running all of our multifoils in here. And if you look at the cabinet now, you can see just the complexity of the amount of work that's got to go on in there just to get the cables in. To support that, backing that up, around on this desk here, we have a man called Clint, who's a whiz with electronics and a programmer. And he's programming the computers that are in the control panel to talk to the new machine, and all of the payout units and the MPEGs and TV units that pay out the foils. So the idea is, once we get this in about a week and a half's time, the system itself will be able to talk to the machine and get it going, and it will control all the parameters of the machine, the speed that we can run through, which will equate to the amount of rolls we can produce every single day. Like I said previously, when we were doing this by hand, we could approximately get about 25 rolls a day made with a team of 6 to 7 people doing it all by hand. This machine's capability, once we get it run up, is around about 400 rolls a day. So we're going to build, over the next 2 to 3 weeks, we're going to build that pace coming along the line so that we can slowly increase from, say, 100 rolls a day to 200 to 300 to 400 rolls a day. A massive amount of work gone in. We've got the guys doing the electrics that have been here a couple of weeks now, great team, working really hard, and to be fair to them, they've been explaining every step that they've been going through, and you've got to take your hat up to people like this, because that to me is spaghetti junction. It's just massive cables, but they absolutely know what they're doing. They're cutting cables and plugging them in all the right places, obviously. But then again, they're going to tie that in with the program that Clint, who owns the business and designs all of this, with his team, they're going to program it all in and make it work. We even have a nice little diagram. If you want to swing around and look, that's the little control panel on there, which will control the machine. But you can see there's a nice pictorial of every element of the machine and what it does. So we're getting there. We're halfway through the installation phase. Another 2 to 3 weeks to go, and we should be at the stage where we're running finished rolls off. And that's with a lot of hard work, in particular to the guys that you've just shown around in the room here, putting 15-hour days in to get all of this cabling in, trunked in. Like I said, it's 4 miles of cables, which they've had to measure, cut, get all lined up, get it all thread through and into the machine. And then there's one young lad that's been sat on that machine, on that little bench for days on his end, on his own, plugging every single end, there he is smiling away, plugging every single end into all of those connections. But I say, that's where we are right now, so things are moving forward. It's really positive for the business, and this will exponentially allow us to grow at the pace we're looking for, and then some. So fit for future is the key word here, and that's what we're starting off right now. So the machine is alive. We have power to it and it's moving. This is the very first stage where it will grab the material as it comes in. Once it's grabbed all the edge of the material, it will start to stitch weld it here, and these will kick in to rotate. So as it's now pulling the material through, it will stitch weld it, which will come through the centre of here. The top and bottom covers will come in. They will be taped in as it comes through as one complete unit of 11 layers. It will then come through these rollers and across these rollers here, which is where we've got the edge welding going on. So where we used to stitch before, it will now be welded by these welders here. As it comes through the welding, it will drop into here. This will grab it. So now we've got two processes going on. We're pulling the material in. It's stitch welding the inner materials together as one unit. It's applying the top and bottom layers, bringing it all in, and then welding all of the layers together through the welders here. It will come through into the accumulator, so the material will go down, up and down the rollers, through the accumulator. Once it gets through the accumulator, it will come out into the feeder to the table and the rewind. As you can see there, it's just come down. So this will then start to rotate. It will start to pull the material in sync with the other two rollers. The table will come up. It will push the material. So it will push the material across the table. When there's a certain amount in, this automatically grabs hold of it, which is the rewind unit. It will now rewind a complete 10-meter roll, 11 layers thick, stitch welded and edge welded, completely finished, into this process. And while we wait for it to count down on its 10 meters, I'm looking at the control panel, we're at 5, nearly 6 meters already. And then when we're getting close to the 10 meters, the next process will kick in. So we're at 8 meters, 9 meters. Process was about to stop. Okay, what would happen now? These would come down. The saw's disconnected at the moment, but the saw will cut it, go back, open up, release the bit that's been cut. This will wind it up. Once we get the full roll on here, it will release a little bit of tension. As you can see, it's just going backwards the opposite direction now. The end cap will open. The completed roll is there. The completed roll will now be pushed off into a bag. That goes back in. The end will close off on the rewind, and we start the whole process again. The table will come up, and because we've collected in the accumulator, this will start to feed through straight away. So the gap, time-wise, between the first roll being finished and the second roll coming off is around about 15 seconds. And then we keep going and going and going. And then we've got the process of running around about 1 minute 42 seconds for each roll, from raw material one end to completed roll at the other. So that's where we are. The machine is alive. We know it all works. So the next process, or the next testing steps, will be to actually run the material through and run it all live and see it stitch it all together. So tune in for the next exciting recording of what we're doing and how we're doing it and how we're making ourselves fit for future. Thanks very much. So, last but not least, the progress from going from a manual to an automated and a fully automated system. So you had a quick view of our control panel there. It does lots of things and many months with many hours of programming, but we've finally got there. To the degree that all we have to do is press one button, we decide what we're going to make, we have a menu, and it sets every setting on the machine automatically in less than a second, and we can press go and we're producing. So no more half-hour, hour setups. 1 second, push the button, everything for that product is loaded automatically, and away we go. Just very quickly, not going to show you everything, but we have a recipe here. I can click in here, I can choose any product that we're making in this range, I can select it, and then I can just come in and press start on the menu. We swing round, the machine does everything else. Fully automated production saving not just labour time, but also bringing efficiency to a business to meet the target demand or the customer demand for the market. So now we're going to show you the actual machine running. Just as a prequel to that, I'm just going to walk you through. So we have our layers of materials you can see on these machines and are on payoffs coming out. And we live feed these. So when they're running out, we don't stop the machine, we actually live feed in. This is Brett. Brett's job today is to live feed while we're filming on here, but that is his job as well. So we'll keep walking through. I'm just going to get Michael to start the machine. Michael, could you start the machine, please? Thank you. So we're going to fire it up. And now you can see the payoffs are all turning. Yep, all the materials coming through. And again, exactly as per our walkthrough just a minute ago, we're going to follow it through and show you it actually live working now. So again, all the materials are being pulled through into one from the payoffs. So we have our inner envelope of all our layers of materials, and we can now see that we're stitch welding in the middle of these. So these are on one side, so we just use the two. As it comes through, we've got the stitch weld in, and then we've got the tapes going on. So top and bottom, it's automatically laying the tapes through. That's bringing in the top foils and securing those in place as they go through pressure rollers to enable a good secure fit just before it goes into the sonic welders. And we can see on the side we have rolling sonic welders that are also embossing the company's logo into the weld. So it's a nice little touch to finish the side of the weld off. Again, we're passing through the accumulator, and you'll see now the accumulator is coming up and down. The machine is still moving, but we've stopped and we're cutting. So the next roll is already being made. This roll's finished, it's cut it off at its 10-metre length, so it will automatically eject the roll, and it will go straight into the bag from that point, and we'll show you the finished product shortly as soon as this comes off. So, and there we go. So off the machine and we have a finished product. And this is our FF6, and we'll join it down here, and we'll put it into this pallet here to go with everything else we've made today. For the observant amongst you, you'll realise that you saw it come off the machine but didn't see it bag. Some things have to be kept a trade secret, but we'll move on. So where are we? In the bigger scope of everything, we went from a production team of 7 that could make 40 to 50 a day by hand. We've now got a machine that can pump out in excess of 400 a day. And just for example, I have 3 people working in here today. That shows efficiency, it shows us being fit for future, and also that we can maintain our service to our customers no matter what the demand. Thank you for watching.